and welcome back to another episode of Sketchbook Sessions. For this week, I'm working on a simple female portrait, so I'll go ahead and take you along with me as we do the entire process, from sketching to inking and then to doing a little bit of coloring with alcohol markers. As you can see, I started off this drawing by doing a more detailed pencil sketch. I sometimes just go for it using inks, but for this one I wanted the proportions of the face and the eyes to be correct, so I decided to go ahead and do it in pencil first before inking on top of it. Once I was happy with the sketch, I went ahead and took the excess graphite off using a kneaded eraser, and then I started inking. I'm using a Japanese calligraphy brush together with Dr. P.H. Martin's black ink, I think the matte version. This video will mostly be in real time, so you can see me actually doing the inking process. I know some people prefer seeing a time-lapse version so that the videos are shorter, but I think it's always nice to mix it up a bit. So for this one, I'm allowing you to see the entire process of how slow I actually ink when I use a brush. Yeah, that way you can gauge how much time I actually take whenever I do a drawing. I start off by inking the eyes first. I do this for a couple of reasons. One, they're usually the focal point of any portrait, so it's important to get them right. Two, I like to get them out of the way ahead of time while my energy and my focus for the piece is still pretty high. I don't know if that makes sense, but you know, as gradually as I work on the drawing, I'm gonna get distracted or zone out. I don't know if that happens to you guys, but it happens a lot to me. As you can see, I take my time when drawing the eyes. It's always so easy to make a mistake and change the overall expression of the eyes, even with just, you know, one wrong stroke. So I need all of my concentration and focus whenever I work on this area. I'm just adding hints and lines for the nose as well as on the lips, because I intend to color the lips with markers, so I'm not going to add details on it, just the overall general shape. I add a little bit more detail to the eye, as well as start forming the shape of the face. I keep everything simple on the face, and then I move to inking the hair. As you know, I love inking the hair part because it's one of those areas where you can just zone out. I especially like doing curly hair, although it can be a pain sometimes to try and find the patterns of the shape of the hair or certain curls, but it's very satisfying once you get the hang of it. Again, I'm keeping a lot of the hair inking process in real time so you can see how I handle or how I ink hair, but you can go ahead and fast forward this or adjust the playback speed, so this will go a lot faster. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and jump onto the subs and I'll add my little notes there, and I'll see you towards the end of the video.
with you, all my troubles are gone without a trace. From all the things that are you.
Hey guys, so I wanted to do a little bit of voiceover for the coloring process to give you guys an idea of what I'm using and how I'm applying it. For this drawing, I use Copic markers. I'm not actually coloring the entire face, I'm just coloring the lips and then some portions of the eye. Here you see me working on her lips first. The very first base layer or base coat that I use is a light orange, kind of flesh orangey tone. I wanted this to work or serve as a highlight to the lips before I add on darker colors. From here, I build it up by adding darker tones on top of it. I just carefully leave out portions, like small areas, to serve as a highlight later on. I initially thought that I was okay with having her like an orangey pink lips, but then I decided to go much darker, as you'll see later on, to give her a more reddish kind of look. I just use a light touch to softly blend in the colors, especially if I'm putting one color on top of the other and I want the first layer to show through still. And I leave out the darkest shade for the last, and I try, well, it depends on the effect you want to achieve, but you can have the previous layers fully dry first before you apply the darkest shade, or you can apply it slightly wet so that it'll kind of blend out, but that's really up to you and what you're trying, on what look you're trying to go for. As soon as I'm satisfied with the rendering for the lips, I move on to the eyes. As I mentioned, this is going to be a very basic type of coloring. I didn't want to color her entire face, so I just sort of added a hint of eyeshadow and color to her eyes. I'm using a flesh tone. Again, I start with the lightest colors and then move on to darker shades from there. At times, I like to render portraits this way, just basically keeping the colors to a minimum and just hinting at it instead of having it overpower the drawing. This way, you can still appreciate the blackness of the inks while also getting that little pop of color in certain areas. You can see me adding hints of light blue as well as later on like adding hints of lilac to give the piece a bit more contrast, color contrast, and to keep it interesting basically. This is really all the colors I'm going to add to this drawing. I don't want to overwhelm it. You'll see me add a bit more blue to the shadows as well as to the face in a bit, but other than that, this is pretty good for me. So yeah, I just didn't want to overwhelm the entire piece. I wanted to keep it very simple and straightforward. done. Thank you so much for joining me again this week, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.